Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty. I've decided to take on a topic that I wouldn't normally talk about for my 50th video. But it should be fun. Before we get into tonight's discussion, for those that caught my channel update, I did get some news back. Just they're not going anywhere. I'm not happy about the final verdict and how it came about, but at least we'll be keeping our internet. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Like I said, I'm not happy about how it ended up coming about. I'll give a few minutes for people to see if we get any viewers. I kind of think some people might want to hear this, what I got to talk about tonight. You know, I know this is going to be a touchy subject for some people. And I know maybe some people may have seen that it was on someone's live stream this week as well. And I mean, it wasn't about diversity, but it was an interesting conversation, and I enjoyed it. I know some people didn't much care for what one of the person that was in there had to say, but, you know, and I guess some people thought maybe that was my views and opinions. So, no, I am an open-minded person, for one. Two, this channel is always and will always be about what our Constitution stands for. It will also be about using history to show things. You know, there's just sometimes it's like we live in a world on certain topics it's just, and they shouldn't be, especially for those of us that live in the United States. So tonight, yes, I am going to cover diversity in all of its many forms of racism, race, sexuality, relationships, but there is an immigration and stuff like that. I'm going to break down some of the rhetoric that's going on right now. And I'm not saying I don't just disagree with some of these people. They're talking about these things. Some aspects I agree, and some aspects I completely disagree. But there's also the issue that I live in the United States. I'm an American. You know, I can't tell people what to do and how to live in other countries. I can only view what's going on from what I see from the people that I follow and watch. You know, I try to put myself in their shoes as best as possible. find common ground to be able to talk about these things. That's important because this whole rhetoric thing that's going on, and it's just not with diversity. Diversity is a major issue, especially when it comes to race. But it's being used to divide people. And that's the danger. Be careful of. Because I don't think anybody wants to see civil unrest, civil war, revolutions in their countries. I know we don't want to see it here in the U.S. We want to see our freedoms and liberties upheld, protected. But when does things end up crossing the line? Some of the people I've heard talk in the last couple of days, some of their talk, in my opinion, has crossed the line. When you talk about lining your borders with military and just shooting every refugee or immigrant that comes across, that should be the last straw, the last defense. The first defense starts in your countries, demanding that your borders be closed. I mean, some of the rhetoric I've heard this week, borders much on the line of what Hitler was about in Mein Kampf. When you start talking a race and saying it needs to be dominant and maybe it needs to make up one whole country, that's exactly what Hitler preached. So there I had an issue. Well, us in the U.S., yes, we're not perfect. But we have a constitution. We have laws. We used to have an American dream. I still believe in that American dream, where everybody can come here and be equal. Now, I draw the line when you got people come here and disrespect our Constitution, will not conform to it. It wants to bring in their form of beliefs and ideology and say that needs to be law. Your laws are archaic, barbaric. No, it's not. In fact, it's what's kept peace for so long in this country. That's what our forefathers fought and bled for, to make sure this country could be great. I mean, if you want to practice that type of ideology, keep it over in Europe. Maybe you guys didn't learn from your predecessors. I mean, you're not the only ones that's got problems with borders. We've got refugees that are coming in here. We're starting to find out more and more, but the problem is nobody can get the damn message out about these things that are popping up, things that are happening because of all the division. Or you get celebrities supporting these very ideologies that these refugees are bringing over here, supporting Sharia law, where, let me tell you something, if you're a woman, try to practice your freedom of speech in one of their countries, see what happens. Yeah, I didn't think so, but they're not telling you that. And those of us that are telling you that, well, we get banned, shadow banned. The new ones that's going to start happening, our links, people, when they search for our shows and videos, are just going to get redirected to somebody that's talking about the opposite, debunking what we're saying. There's a lot of rhetoric, left, right, alt. And you guys are just as divided amongst yourselves. We don't have a symbol anymore. Right? We do have a symbol. They just keep forgetting it. Our symbol should be our Constitution for those of us in the U.S. I don't know what I can tell you guys for other countries, but your symbol should be. Find it. Find your patriotism. And rally behind that. Don't rally behind an ideology of alt, right, alt, whatever, left, right, Democrat, Republican, Socialist, Nationalist. Those are labels that are meant to cause diversity, that are meant to cause division. They're not something to rally behind. They don't represent freedom. They don't represent liberty. They don't represent even justice. None of them. Some of the aspects I do agree on, that stuff's been talked about, especially now with the refugee issues. You know, Sharia law issues that we're seeing everywhere. It's causing chaos, causing disruption. It's an infiltration into our countries and systems. And they, with certain belief sets, are starting to outbreed the other ethnic and cultures that are in each country. And why is that happening? These are the issues we should be talking about. Why is this stuff happening? Why is there a decline in the white population? Why is there a growth in other cultures? But yet, if you look at it, there's a common consensus that can be found through all that. One, the way Planned Parenthood's been teaching birth control, telling people that don't focus on family, or focus on your careers before having kids. You know, forcing people to work godly hours, sometimes 2, 3 jobs just to get by, so they don't even want to think about family. In fact, having a family will actually be more of a burden on our relationship. These are the issues, not diversity. This is rhetoric that they've been teaching you and feeding down your throat. You know, but now they want to coin a new term. It's not new, it's old. But now they want to talk about diversity. Wow, diversity. What is diversity? Well, diversity is division for one, guys. Common sense. I know it's probably not the real definition of it, but diversity breeds division. Period. That much is common sense. You know, we've been living in a far too long in an age of propaganda. Well, that propaganda is finally set in and caused brainwashing, where men wants to be more feminine. You know, for those that know, I believe in equality. Equality is different than diversity. Everyone should have everyone should have the right to believe and practice what they want, express themselves how they want. To all you men out there, start acting like fucking men. Be proud to be a male. Be proud to get covered in grease, dirty from working. Be proud to have a beautiful woman at your side because she loves that you work hard. You might not look like a muscle-bound freak. You don't have to. It's your work. It's the way you carry yourself. How you uphold yourself by being a man, not a sissified sissy. And for those that take offense to that, I'm just practicing my freedom of speech. And like I said, my own opinions and views. Nothing wrong with being a sissy if that's what you choose to be. I'll respect that if you're open and choose that way. But also know you're also still a man. You know, and I expect you to be able to fight like a man. I expect you to be able to stand up for yourself. maybe we've gotten away from that aspect. We're just taught to respect everyone for everything. Maybe we need to go back to some of the old things where respect is actually earned. Like I said, I'm not in the mood when I start hearing people talk about things that are borderline what Hitler preached. I mean, you're free to talk about whatever you want, believe what you want, but remember, when you're on these channels and you have followers, those followers are going to hold on to what you are saying. That's quite interesting. See, YouTube's been playing things again. Because normally nobody can comment on a live stream video until the video is done processed. You know, we need to find common ground. I 100% agree on this. We need to get away from all this rhetoric. We need to get away from any issue. Thing about race, skin color, especially here in the United States. We're American. That means Latino, Hispanic, or, wow, all the different terms we want to give one culture. Latino, Asian, Puerto Rican, like I said, covers Latino, but you see what I'm saying? We keep coming up with so many names. Black, white, Korean. We have a rich culture. We are citizens of the United States. We are Americans. Should never, ever judge each other by what color of our skin is. For those of us in America, our rallying cry shouldn't be an alt, whatever, Democrat, Republican, Socialist, Liberal. Our rallying cry should be the Constitution. The very same thing gives you the right to be what you are. An American, whether that be a homosexual American, a straight American, a transgender American, whatever. You have that right in the Constitution, whether you be female or male. These are the things that they hate. These are the things that they oppose. They see this as an insult to their very ideology and teachings. They see this freedom as a loss of control. That's what it boils down to. They don't want free-thinking people. They don't want people to see past diversity. They want you to use diversity to divide you, to make you want to annihilate a race because of their fucking color. When it's not just the color. It's an ideology of a people that history has shown time and time again can't coexist with no one. They want to dominate and control and take over. We are watching history unfold. But when you start throwing a color in there, now you're treading on the very same lines that Adolf Hitler treaded when he wanted to annihilate the Jews. You have to be careful with your rhetoric, with how you talk about things, or we're going to end up in a cycle that we are not going to like. And now that I've probably offended everybody out there. Yes, we're talking about refugees. We're talking about radical Islamist Muslims who pretty much will commit a genocide on any real peaceful form of Muslim if there ever was one to begin with. I'd like to believe that there was. There was once upon a time a group that wanted to coexist and be equal. There may be still some that's trying to flee, but because of what's going on in every country, including our very own here in the United States, they've killed it for anyone. Our borders should be closed to them. Before what we see happening in Europe, what we see happen in a town in Germany where the Germans become the minority. And I do agree on some aspects, ideas of people. You should be proud to be what color you are. If you're white, you should be proud of it. If you're black, you should be proud of it. Don't let a bad ideology speak for a whole culture, when truthfully, it does not. I know so many good black people. I know so many good Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, Asians. And I know just as many bad ones. But do I blame the rest of them for the bad ones? No. Do I talk about we need to go annihilate all of them because of the bad ones? No. But I will say this. If you're white, you should probably do a little study on the demographics. And all cultures should. We were taught that, we're not having as many children as we should be having. We need another baby boom generation in our culture. But what we don't need is more of the same rhetoric that keeps dividing all of the races. Europeans have a rich culture. We should know here in the United States, most of our ancestors were Europeans of some sort. Some of us have multiple cultures mixed into our families. I come from pretty much a strong line of German and Irish descent, mainly from the histories and genealogies of our family. I have about only 13 married outside of it. My family being one of them. I'm proud to say I'm American Brazilian. But I made a choice a long time ago. My nationality is American. It will always be an American. That doesn't signify the color of my skin, though. And yes, the color of my skin is Caucasian. But then again, I talk about that. Oh, you got white privilege. I don't got goddamn white privilege. Where I've got white privilege. Show me how I'm not having to bust my ass off to put food on the table but barely get by. That's white privilege? Wow. It's called rich privilege. Elite privilege. A caste system. It's not called middle class, poor middle class, upper middle class, rich, elite, wealthy. Just fancy terms for fucking system. They treat us just like common peasants, because in their eyes, that's what we are. We're beneath them. Not what our forefathers wanted for this country. Our forefathers didn't want us to be divided. And they'd be ashamed of even hearing us talk about race and diversity. Because if we allow it to divide us, that's the rhetoric of it. That they can divide us and pit us against each other. Because here's what it leads to. Now we have all these movements, alt-right, left, right, liberalism, Republican, Democrat, socialism, communism, and all these different communities spring up from them to where you get division within every community because one view opposes the other. They can't agree on certain things. They can't find common ground. So therefore, we get all these channels out there. We get all these different news, want to call news sites out there. And they're sticking to certain forms of rhetoric. Alt-right, alt-white. And it's just further dividing us even more. And the problem is, hey, I'm not talking to anyone right now, obviously, because nobody can get along long enough or put all their opinions to the side and try to find common ground. I can jump on anybody's channel I want to and just get along, listen, talk back and forth. I'm not going to sit there and get in a heated debate with you. It's pointless. But we can talk civilly, find common ground and build on that common ground. We can learn from each other. And therefore, by learning from each other, we can find other ways to reach other people. I'm not a supporter of violence. Violence should be the very, very, and I mean very last straw. Because here's what's going to happen, guys. Ladies. It's going to come to a point. Some of you are going to keep going down that road you're going down, with that rhetoric you're going down, and you're going to start pitting people against each other who wouldn't normally be pitted. You're going to cause rifts within your own communities. And when something does go off, you're going to be too busy fighting within yourself. Everybody's going to fight against each other. It'll be a free-for-all. Where's your vendetta? Where is your cause? When you're fighting against some people that actually believe in some of the things you are believing about. That's what division causes. It allows another group to come in, sway one side a little bit, and oppress the others. And at the same time, re-educate the ones that they drew in. I mean, I don't get how you guys can't see what's playing out before your eyes. Problem is, we become so brainwashed that anything anybody says, it'll trigger you. You'll take offense to it right off the bat and turn it off without even hearing the person out. Or you'll get so defensive that you'll just start attacking instead of listening. Listen first before you attack. Ask yourself, why did that trigger you? Trust me, I've had to ask myself that a few times this week. Why did certain people and certain things they said trigger me? And it all come back to one thing. They have great points, but they're going too far. They're walking a dangerous road that's led to being divided. That's led to they want to take action. They want to lash out. What the atrocities that are going on. And they're, in a sense, you're allowing your emotions to run wild with uncontrolled. Sometimes speaking before you think, not realizing that the danger is even that. Especially when you're doing live podcasts from Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. All these people that follow you that stumble across that live stream, you're planting a seed of discord instead of a seed of action, of creative action, constructive action, into positive change. Instead, you're replacing that positive with a negative. You know, we're not always going to agree on things. We're not supposed to. But that doesn't mean we can't find common ground to find ways to something that we do agree on that we can build on. Sometimes we gotta, dare I say it, put our egos in check. Sometimes we just need to maybe be an observer for a bit. Watch all sides. Don't judge them. Watch them. Watch things play out. Keep your judgments out of it. Keep your previous views and opinions and question them from the action that you're seeing unfolding. Because this diversity thing goes way deeper than skin color. It goes to a programming, brainwashing ideology that's been going on for decades. And I don't blame no one for it, except for the true blame lies, and that's to those that have set this thing in motion. You know, we call them by so many different names. I'm not even going to name them. You know who I'm talking about, and it's not the people. It's a lot of the people we put in office and government that needs to be replaced. When do we reach that point of no return? When do we reach that point where, hey, maybe what some of these people are saying are just, that's what needs to happen before people get the reality of it. Maybe we've forgotten those things. Maybe we forgot what the Civil War taught us. Maybe we've forgotten what Adolf Hitler taught the world. Maybe some of you, when you're talking about annihilating a people, should go ask the Holocaust victims what they think about that. I'm sure if we ask some of the Indians what they think about what we did here, they might say some things we might not like. I mean, there's lessons even in that dark part of history for us Americans, because now we're watching the same thing happen by a radical group of by a radical group of Muslims who've done this throughout history. I mean, I don't have the right answer how to deal with this. The only answer I have is demand that our government stop allowing them into our country, period. They can't coexist. They can't get along. Go back to the countries they're from and don't let them into your borders. All right, guys, I got a phone call coming in, so I am going to get off here. I will talk to you guys later, and like I said, it's something for you to think about.